All right, folks, we are back after a couple months off after the Super Bowl. We are back with only 9 days till the 2026 NFL Draft, and it is time for our pre-draft rankings, our power rankings, and we're going to start at number 32 and work our way up to 1. We're going to do this in several different segments here today. So today I'm going to work on the bottom 7 teams in the NFL, and we're going to start at number 32 with the New York Jets. I think this is going to be the worst team in the NFL this year. They have the worst head coach in the NFL, or one of the worst head coaches in the NFL. In Aaron Glenn. I just do not feel like he knows what he's doing. They have a quarterback in Geno Smith who appears is going to start that the Raiders didn't want last year. So that is not a great sign. And they have by far the worst defense in the NFL. This is a team that did not have a single interception last year. They gave up 29 or more points in the last 5 games, and yet somehow their defense is stronger than their offense, and that's a really bad sign. Now, there is some bright points here. The 2 good points for this team is that they have 2 first-round draft picks and 2 second-round draft picks in this draft, and they have 2 first-round picks a year from now in 2027. So they have a ton of draft capital. Now, whether or not they're going to use those appropriately and find some good assets with those draft picks is yet to be seen. At number 31, I have the Browns. And this is a team that hired a head coach that just seems like they hired him because their first 10 options told them no and did not want to go there. So they kind of got defaulted into their head coach. But they have 3 quarterbacks on the roster, and I don't really have any confidence in any of them. The reports right now is that Deshaun Watson is a projected starter. He has not played in 2 seasons, and he was not very good the last time we saw him. We know a lot about the personal stories, but he's coming off an Achilles injury. I do not feel good about their quarterback at all. I don't like a lot of their weapons. Their star rookie running back last year had a terrible injury that he's going to be coming off of. Now, the good thing for the Browns, they have 2 bright spots here. They have 2 first-round draft picks this year, kind of like the Jets. And then they have Myles Garrett, who I think they should trade and turn into more draft picks. I don't know if they're going to do that, but they have been pretty solid on defense. And they do have that asset in Myles Garrett that they could flip for more draft capital, which I think they should do. But we'll see how that plays out here as we go forward. Number 30, I have the Cardinals. So they have no Kyler, so this is a great time to rebuild. They have a great tight end, and I'm waiting on Marvin Harrison Jr. He's been one of the biggest disappointments over the past couple of years for me in the NFL. I thought we were going to see a lot more from him, and we haven't. Like I said, they have probably the best tight end in the NFL in Trey McBride. They do have some bright points, but Jacoby Brissett is going to be the opening day starter, and I can't think of anything more depressing right now as a fan than having Jacoby Brissett going to be your starter. They are another team in need of a quarterback, but this is really a 1-quarterback draft. I know Ty Simpson is projected to go somewhere in the 20s, but for some of these teams like the Cardinals, Browns, and Jets, I think the real goal here should be just to kind of, I hate using the word tank, but bottom out, and because next year is a much stronger quarterback class than this year. But we'll see what they do at quarterback here in the draft with the 3rd overall pick. We'll see what happens there. Number 29, the Dolphins. The Dolphins have very little talent, and yet they have the third least amount of cap space in the entire NFL. I'm not sure how that's even possible. Now, they did move off Tua, who had a terrible contract. There's no Waddle. They traded him to the Broncos. No Tyreek Hill. So this team's going to be look a lot different. But what they really got to do is start clearing cap space, acquire some draft picks, and start building from the future, because this team has no cap space and they have no talent. And I think they're going to finish second to last place behind the Jets in that division. They have no chance of making the playoffs, and we'll see what they can do here this year. At number 28, I have the Titans. And they hired Robert Saleh this offseason, who I think is actually a pretty good coach. I think he had a poor showing with the Jets, but I don't necessarily place that on him. He is a guy who can turn around a defense very fast, and I think that he will turn around this defense in a hurry. I really liked what I saw last year from Cam Ward. He showed some really good flashes, but he is kind of limited on weapons and who he can throw the ball to, so we'll see how he progresses throughout his career. I think this team will make a slight jump in wins over last year, but still, they're still missing a lot of offensive pieces. I think Robert Saleh will get the defense turned around, but Cam Ward just needs more people to throw the ball to right now. Right now, Calvin Ridley is his number 1 receiver. Cameron Dike, he showed a lot of flashes as a rookie last year. They just need more weapons for Cam Ward to throw to. Number 27, and this is where I really break from the odds. I have the Falcons here, and this is not where the odds line up. The Falcons are much higher on the list, but I hate what the Falcons are doing right now. I love Kevin Stefanski. I think this is the perfect head coach to hire, but I do not like their quarterback situation at all. I just don't know right now if it's ever going to happen from Michael Penix. I just haven't liked what I've seen from him so far, and he's a really hard time staying healthy, and they back him up with Tua, another guy who can't stay healthy. So I don't like what they have going on at quarterback. I do think this is a team that has a lot of talent. I do think this is a team that has a good head coach, but I think they just got to improve their quarterback situation. And if it does not happen for Michael Penix right now this season, I think this is a team that's going to be looking for a quarterback in the 2027 draft. And number 26, I have the Raiders, and this is the team I'm probably the most hopeful for of this entire class. The problem for the Raiders is they are in one of the toughest divisions in the NFL, behind probably the NFC the NFC West. The AFC West is probably the second toughest division, so they have a really uphill climb. But they're going to have Mendoza coming in, and I do like Mendoza, and I do think he's a guy who will be semi-ready to play right away. They have a great tight end, and they still have Max Crosby. I thought they got absolutely hosed on the Ravens trade with the physical failing and stuff like that. So they still have that asset that they can flip for more draft picks here as we get closer to the draft. But this is a team that has acquired some talent. Now, Mendoza is going to be very limited on his wide receivers that he can throw to here year one. They traded away Jacoby Myers last year, so they're very limited at wide receiver, but they do have a great running back. They do have a great tight end. They do have some talent on defense, and they can start to acquire some draft picks with some of that talent and really start building for the future. So those are picks number 32 through 26. We'll go down the line here tomorrow, and we'll talk to everyone later.